We're going to be going through Google Classroom. You have the agenda here as well as the handout. Again, the handout will be QR code available at the end of this as well. Google Classroom is what is referred to as an LMS, Learning Management System. And it is basically taking the place of a teacher's hand-in bin or handout bin. It is a place for students to be able to access their materials, complete their materials, and turn them back in to the teacher. And it's a way for the teacher then to be able to digitally grade things and then return those items to the students, all without ever having to print anything. So what we are going to do then is talk about how do your students access Google Classroom, as well as how do you as a parent or guardian access your students' Google Classroom. Students at school are using Chrome exclusively. So they are only ever using Google Chrome on their school issued laptops. And when they are using Chrome, they are signed in, or what's referred to as Google Sync. And so when a student clicks on their icon in the browser itself, they'll be able to see here that Sync is on. This is something that we actively encourage the students to make sure that they've always had Sync turned on, because the main reason is that it gives them access to the Shelton curated bookmarks. And it also will load different extensions that they have available to them, such as Read and Write and Orbit Note. That being said, when a student is on any computer that is connected to the internet and has Chrome installed, they have the ability to log into Chrome with their Shelton credentials, and they turn on Sync. And once they do that, then they will see these Shelton bookmarks presented here. Depending on your student and what division they're in, they may see more, they may see less than what we see here up on the screen this evening. But they should all, in grades 3rd through 12th, definitely see Google Classroom. This is how the students are going to access Google Classroom. It's also as simple as typing in classroom.google.com. So you as the guardian in this situation do not actually have like a parent portal into Google Classroom. So the way that you would access your students' Google Classroom is by using their Shelton email and Shelton password. There is a function of Google Classroom that does send out guardian emails. You may receive guardian emails from Google Classroom if you have a student in another school. And you may be wondering, why haven't I ever received any from Shelton? It's because we as a school have shut that off. We would rather you reach out to the teachers and ask them questions about, how did the assignment go? So once again, you as a parent will access Google Classroom the same way that your student does, using your student's Shelton email and Shelton password. We are here inside of Google Classroom now. And we are going to first and foremost take a look at modifying notifications. One of the biggest issues that our students have, their inbox is just too full. The handout QR code that I provided at the beginning, and I will provide again at the end, that handout does cover this information in detail. So if you don't get everything that I'm doing right now, it's okay. You will have that available to you in a little while. All right. So to configure our notifications so that we are not being bombarded with emails, first thing that we need to do is on the dashboard of Google Classroom, over on the left, sometimes the students will actually have to scroll down on this part, but they're going to see settings at the very bottom. Once we're inside of settings, this is currently configured the way that we would ask our students to configure it. So we do want them to receive email notifications. However, we want to limit the types of notifications that they're going to be receiving. So first and foremost, under comments, some teachers open up the comment section or the stream, which we'll experience here in just a moment. They'll open that up for students to add content, contribute to a discussion, whatever the case might be. What we're going to do, encourage our students, is to have those comments on your posts and comments that mention you disabled. So if a student submits a post to the stream, we don't want them getting a barrage of emails from Google Classroom saying that their classmates have, commented here and there and everywhere else. So we're going to turn off comments on posts, and we're going to turn off comments that mention you, similar to any of the social medias that are out there. We do, however, want to have private comments on work turned on. And what this is going to do, as we'll see here in just a little while, is teachers and students can have private conversations within Google Classroom, and those comments are attached to a specific assignment. Within Google Classroom, students and teachers can both send private comments to one another attached to a specific assignment. And so if a kid now has having issues on question 6, I'll be notified as the teacher, and I can see that, oh, Johnny is working on the pulley lab. And so he and I can have a little back and forth there. But that's at least a good way for students to easily and quickly send a quick comment to a teacher, or even for the teacher to send a quick comment to the students. So we do want private comments on work to be turned on. The next section here is classes you're enrolled in. And so this first option is by far the most problematic notification. And so when a teacher posts an assignment or posts something to the stream, if this option is turned on, then it's going to send an email notification to your student. And if your kid is in middle school, that's 6 potential teachers in one day. Some teachers are going to be posting possibly 2 to 3 items. So I mean, if we just say 2 items a day times 6 teachers, that's 12 emails that they're getting just from Google Classroom alone. So we really want to make sure that students, if nothing else, students absolutely need to have work and other posts from teachers disabled. That also gets them into the habit of regularly checking Google Classroom to see if there's been any updates or anything. The next 3 things are kind of optional for the kids. If they want to be notified when an assignment has been returned with a grade from their teacher, sure, they can have that turned on. If it gets to be too much, they can always come in here and just turn that off. Invitations to join, that's not really relevant to us. It's not going to have any effect either way. And then the last one here, due date reminders for your work. I personally think that this is typically a good one to have turned on, because I think it's 24 hours before the assignment is due. If the student has not completed the assignment, they'll get an email notification saying, hey, in 24 hours, you have this assignment due. The last part then down here is these settings can either be turned on or off for specific classes. If your student is in athletics, I know that some of the coaches are utilizing Google Classroom. The kid probably doesn't need notifications from that, so they can just come in here and just disable that one class from any sort of notifications. So all of these notifications will be applied to any class where the slider is turned on. This test class will not get any notifications whatsoever. Again, the most important one to make sure that it's turned off is this work and other posts from teachers. So now we're actually going to jump into a class. And once more, we're here at the dashboard. We can see that we have 5 tiles for 5 classes, which our student Baby Yoda is currently enrolled in. The students have the ability to click and rearrange the order of these so they can arrange it by actual period. So first period, second period, third period, so on and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and jump in to this third period science class by one Mr. Brendel. The Google Classroom then is broken down into 3, sometimes 4 parts. The 4th part I'll talk about a little bit, but you can see up here we do not have a 4th tab. We start off with the stream. The stream is going to be kind of like the social media of a Google Classroom. A lot of teachers elect to just turn the stream off altogether. Some teachers will turn the stream on so that students can comment on things that the teacher adds. And then some brave souls decide to give the students free reign of stream, and they can post and comment to their heart's content. The stream should not have pertinent information for your students regarding like grades, tests, things that are really, truly important. The problem with the stream, like all social media, is the newest things are at the top and the older things get pushed farther and farther down. And I'm sure you are all aware of the fact that a student will take the path of least resistance, much like water. And when they click on the Google Classroom, we want our students to always go to this section next, which is classwork. So classwork is where students are going to spend the vast majority of their time. inside of Google Classroom, because this is where teachers are going to be able to post their homework assignments, reading materials, supplemental stuff, as well as the actual assignments that the students are going to be working on. So here at the top, this is supposed to mimic a middle school Google Classroom. And the reason I am distinguishing middle school here is because in middle school, the teachers will always post at the top if there is homework or no homework for that given day. So we can see right here that on August 21st, there was a homework assignment. And the kids can click on the title of this, it'll expand the details, and the teacher will have put in much more descriptive stuff here than what I've done. But it would say, you know, chapter 12, every odd question from 1 to 31. And so the kids will have very detailed instructions on what they need to do. If the teacher is heavily invested in Google Classroom, they'll typically see attachments here as well for them to click on and start working on and doing. In middle school, the teachers are posting either homework with the date or no homework with the date, and it'll always be right up here at the top. In upper school, it's slightly different. Upper school is utilizing Google Calendar. We want our students to be using calendars. We think that's an important soft skill for them to have and be productive with, especially when they leave Shelton. And so teachers are actually using Google Calendar to post their assignments there, and the upper school students are instructed to go to Google Calendar to be able to see assignments due and assignments past due, things of that nature. Here we are then inside of classwork. We can see that in this particular class, we have physics as well as astronomy. We have some assignments listed here, one of which is a PolyLab, which I can see, this is from the student's view, is due on November 15th. And if I click on that, it'll drop down. I'll have a brief description from the teacher about what it is that's supposed to be done. On this particular assignment, there is a Google Doc that is attached to this. So the student simply clicks on the doc, it opens in a new tab, and here is my document for me to start filling out information, calculating mechanical advantage of pulley systems. So the student can type in here, hopefully better answers than what I'm providing. And then up at the top right, there is a dedicated turn-in button. And this is one of the big advantages to Google Classroom and Google Docs and all the Google stuff, is the integration is phenomenal. And so I have a dedicated turn-in button here. When I click this turn-in button, it redirects me back to Google Classroom, and it's asking me to confirm that I want to turn it in. So I've clicked turn in one time. Now I'm clicking turn in 2 times. When I click turn in that second time, right up here in the top right-hand corner, I can see the attachment as well as the notification that it has been turned in. So this is a very easy way for the students to be able to see, did I turn it in, yes or no? They do have the ability as well to unsubmit. The teachers will get a log of who has turned in and who has unsubmitted and resubmitted. But if a student comes in here and they open up this attachment right now, you'll notice that there is a button that says request edit access, and I can no longer type on this document. The reason for that is when a student turns something in, what's really happening is that ownership of that document goes from the student to the teacher. And so technically, the teacher now owns this doc as Google Classroom is concerned. And so the students can't make any changes to it. Again, if they open that up and they realize, oh no, I completely forgot the second page of questions there, they can come in and hit unsubmit, confirm unsubmit, and we'll see it now says that it's been assigned. And so I can now open back up into this attachment, and I once again have editing rights to it. And then once more, turn in, confirm the turn in, and my teacher has it. The teacher will be able to see if a student has submitted, unsubmitted, and resubmitted. The student has turned in the assignment, and if I hit refresh, I should see that updated grade, boom, right there. So 90 out of 100. Very easy for the kids to get work, complete it, and turn it in. Very easy for the teachers to be able to collect it, grade it, and return it. The last part of our navigation here then is the people section. If they wanted to, they could come in here and see who is in their class, and they could send a quick email to that individual or even email their teachers that are in that class. The last part of Google Classroom that we do not currently see is the grades portion. And that is just basically like an online grade book for the students to be able to access if a teacher is taking advantage of the grading functionality within Google Classroom, like with the grade books and stuff. That handout goes into more detail, specifically with the ensuring notifications are configured properly for your students.